Hey guys, today we're going to look at the oscilloscope, the Siglent SDS1004X-E, and in particular we're going to look at trying to recover those keys to alter the different frequencies, so you can turn it into a 200 megahertz, 100 megahertz, 70 or 50 megahertz. I'm not sure why you'd do that. The usual popular one is you buy the 50 or 70 or the 100 and turn it into 200. We're also going to recover the keys using the same process for the Wi-Fi, for the AWG and the MSO functionalities on this oscilloscope, should you need to activate those. We're going to need a few bits and pieces, but what we're not going to do, we're not going to download any keygens from dodgy websites or any other sort of code or script that we have to run or altered firmware. We're literally going to take the firmwares from Siglent themselves. We're going to downgrade that firmware because they've stopped you doing this, so we're going to downgrade it to an older firmware. We're then going to dump out the memory. We're going to scan through that memory using a hex editor, which we're going to get from Microsoft Store, and then we're going to activate the keys that you wish to activate, and then we're going to re-update to the latest version of the firmware. So at the end of this process, you'll have everything you need. You want to use any dodgy software or any file share site to get anything what you need. We're going to do it not legit, but we're going to do it perfectly legit. I mean, clearly you're only trying to recover the keys you've purchased. So first of all, for this exercise, you're going to need an internet connection. You're going to need just a standard network lead, so we can connect it into the back of the oscilloscope and into your router. You're going to need something like this. I mean, I've just got a flash drive. I've got a 32 gig. You probably see that on the little camera in the corner there. If I put that on the if I do it that way around, we've got a good quality 32 gig card there, SD card. So put that back in there, and that's so we can transfer the memory dump from the oscilloscope over to your PC. Okay, if you want to activate Wi-Fi like I do, then this is the module you should buy. It's a TP-Link and it's a TL-WN725N. Now I can't validate this, but I have it from a good source that this is the one you would get if you paid the £38 that Siglent want you to pay for this, which maybe that's a good deal and maybe I'm missing something. Sometimes I do, but frankly £5.50 is the one I bought. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is, and there's links by the way at the bottom in the comment section for this video for these firmwares, but the next thing you need to do is you need the two firmwares. So first one we might as well get while we're here, we might as well get the latest version of the software, making sure you get the correct scope number, of course, because these are in a bit of a weird order. So we'll get the 6.1.37 R10, so we can update it, and then we're also going to want, again making sure we get the correct one, we're going to want this one, version 6.1.26, and this is the last version which they submitted that allowed you to do the memory dump, and that's the reason why we're going to have to downgrade so we can get the memory dump, find the keys, put the keys in, and then update to the latest. So I've already got these here, and all you're going to need out of those files when they arrive, you're going to unzip them. They come with a few other little files in there as well, but you're going to unzip them, and it's the ADS files you need. So I've got the older one there, version 6.1.26, and I've got the new one, 6.1.37 R10. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the network lead in the back of the scope, and then what I want you to do is make sure the other end is obviously connected to your network router, so we've got an internet connection, and assuming your laptop that you're going to be using is also your computer, it's also networked to the same network, then we're going to press the, well, first of all we'll press the default button just so you know we've sort of started again like this. And I've just got the probes by the way on the In fact, I can take that off. Take that off so it doesn't. We don't need that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to press the utility button up here, and we're going to go to page 2, and here we get the I/O port. If we can get that a little bit closer. So we've got the I/O button here, and we've got the net interface on as LAN, which is what we want, and I don't think there'll be anything else on because we haven't got the Wi-Fi adapter in just yet. So we're going to go to IP set, and I've already got my DHCP turned on, so yours will probably be turned off if you haven't used LAN before. So you're going to turn that on, give it 30 seconds, and click save. And once you've saved, I found it better to actually exit out of that and reboot the actual oscilloscope. When it comes back up, you should be able to go back in here and go back to IP set, and you should be able to discover, as I can here. Let me see if I can get that in focus. I'm not sure I can. Can I get that in? No, you can't. You can't see that, sadly, but I can see that that says IP address is 192.168.0.87. So if I go back to my desktop here, and I get myself a new tab, I can go 168.87, and that will load up my Siglent scope. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our USB flash drive. I've got a strange device here, but it is the 32 megabytes in the port, and we're going to plug it into the USB port on the oscilloscope itself. Make sure that's nice and firmly in, and it should say USB flash drive detected there. If it does not do that, by the way, guys, then the SD card needs to be formatted as FAT32. It will not work without FAT32. So we've got those two firmwares on there. So we're going to go to the utilities again, and we're going to go to update, the option to update. Let's see if we can get that back in there a little bit better. And we're going to press update. We're going to press firmware, and we're going to select the firmware with the little knob here, and we want the 26, which is this one here, because we want the old version. Just push the button and then press to update. It will decompress the file, and I'm going to record this live, guys, because if you perhaps you might want to see how long this takes. So it doesn't take that long, so we might as well leave it going. Okay, so it says firmware decompressed. Please restart and wait. So here we're just going to press the power button and hold until it goes off. Count a few seconds and restart it. We've all seen it restart. It doesn't do anything, it just restarts. Okay, going through its self-test now, and there we have it. We are on. So if I just press the system status button here, we can see that we now rolled back to, I haven't got a pointer, I'll use a pen. We can see we've come back to, we're not quite sure what the 8.3 bit is, but it's the 6.1.26 version, which is the most important part. And we can press the single key to get rid of that. Okay, so now we've got the actual correct firmware involved. We now need to dump out the memory dump. Okay, so now we've got the flash drive inserted into the oscilloscope. We're going to click on this SCPI here, and we need to type the first command. Now the first command we need to know is we need to find the actual ID of the scope, and to do this we need to use the command SCOPEID question mark, not forgetting the question mark, and it's sort of one word, there's no spaces. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to type that into this command box, scope ID question mark, and click send. And that's going to return as a string. Now you need to keep that handy. You need to make a note of that because that is going to be the string for your oscilloscope, and we're going to need to find that in the memory dump in a moment. So write that one down. And the next thing we need to do is we need to issue a command to make it dump the memory, and it will dump the memory onto that disk. Now this particular command here will be in the notes in the video down there. So all we need to do is copy that into there. Now you must wait 3 minutes. Now don't rush this. It's got a big file to transfer from the oscilloscope onto that flash drive, so you need a good 3 minutes. Once it's had a good 3 minutes, and you can see there's no interaction, the PC screen will be on the same screen, the laptop will, the oscilloscope will look exactly the same. So you just have to wait 3 minutes and it will be done. And then we're gonna switch off the oscilloscope just so we don't damage the flash drive. And then we can unplug it, and we can then plug that into the computer. Once in the computer, you should see that there's been a new file now added to this. It's quite a large file, 245 meg, which is why we had to wait a little while. But we now got something called a memory dump. So the next part we need to do is we need to find from the Microsoft App Store, Microsoft Store here, we need to find your favorite hex editor. If you don't know one, then you can search for something called hex edit, like this. And this is this one here. This is what I've got, and I've got this installed. Look, if you prefer to choose a different one, or maybe you already got one put in, and that's fine. But just download and install that. I've got my little favorite here, and I'm going to open the file from the flash drive, memdump. And what I need to do now is I need to search, pressing Ctrl F, for the name of the oscilloscope, which is SDS1000X-E, through this file. So it's searching away. It takes a little time, and this is because it's a web-based solution, and it allows large files even on relatively low resourced equipment to be searched, because it's actually loading the file as it's searching through it. Okay, so this is the first one we found, and that's not the one that we need. So what we're looking for here is we're looking for either the serial number of the scope, which you can find on the back, or you're looking for that scope ID, which we recorded earlier. So we're asking it to find next, find next. Okay, it's found another one, but there's no IDs there. There's no scope, serial number, or scope ID. So find next. No, nothing around there. No scope, no serial number. Find next. Again, nothing there. Find next. Nothing again. Find next. Okay. So here we go. So we found some codes here. So here is my SDS, and this is my serial number here. Probably have to blot that out. And then these are the 3 key codes. Now this represents AWG Wi-Fi code, this set here, and this is the MSO code. So we've now got 3 of the 7 keys we're trying to find, and then we can find next. And now here is the key. that serial ID number that we captured earlier, and we can see some more codes now. We've got the 200 megahertz one, we've got the 100 megahertz one, we've got the 50 megahertz one, which is to there, and we've got the 70 megahertz one, which is to there, starting with 24, and then we've got a duplicate down here, which is the same as this one. So this is really what's installed. So now with the scope switched on, we're going to go back to our Siglent web connection. I'm just going to refresh that because we've had a reboot of the scope. And we need to enter the commands now for the functionalities or the new frequency settings that we want to implement. Now I just did Wi-Fi here, but here's the way you would do that. So you would enter this command to change the frequency. So it would look something like that. So you'd grab this and obviously your code. So let's put that in here. So if we wanted to activate 200, for example, then what we would do here is we would grab the code for 200, which was this one here. So it would be, and when you put that in there, then you just press send, and that would give it the 200 or 100 or whatever. Now I'm not going to particularly do that because I've got 100 Hertz calibrated oscilloscope, and although everybody reports it will still work on 200 Hertz, you're not calibrated. It was never calibrated from the factory at 200 Hertz, so therefore you must understand that from tinkering around in the shed. I'm sure that's okay. But personally, I wanted the Wi-Fi code. So for Wi-Fi, you would do this command here. So to activate Wi-Fi instrument, you would put this in here, and again for this one, you would choose this middle code. So 82EP. You'd choose this middle code. You'd put that there. So you've got LCISL space Wi-Fi, comma, and then whatever code you found in your firmware, and you click send. Once we do that, then we can go back to the oscilloscope, and what you should be able to do, and it's probably better to do a reboot in between this, you can go back to your utility menu, page 1, system status. You should still have your 6126 firmware. Press this key here, and then on this one here we should have options and information, and as you see, we've now got USB Wi-Fi permanent XX. I've not put the AWG on because I don't have one, and I don't have an MSO, the digital attachment, so no point me doing those, no point in just activating for the sake of activating. So I do have Wi-Fi, so that's now capable of taking that. So if I go back and go over to I/O, I'm going to do a reboot and plug my Wi-Fi dongle in, TP-Link, if you can see that, but it is TP-Link. Let's reboot. So I'll put that in the back like that. Switch on. Okay, so that's on. So now I can go to net interface LAN, and I should be able to change it to WLAN, and I should be able to go to Wi-Fi setup. Status is off, so turn it on. Then I should be able to go to select SSID. So I'm going to just go to go backspace. I'm going to put manual scan because it just saved me typing something. And there you can see that I can select my network here, and I can put my password in here and press confirm, and it will connect to the Wi-Fi. So we need to plug back in the USB drive so we can update. Back on the utility menu, find update, press update, firmware, select the latest firmware, so that's 6 for in my case 6.1.37 R10. Press the button and press to update. I'll fast forward this because you've seen how long it takes to update now. Okay, and there we are. So we've got the latest version is now on there, 637R10. Everything's there. Press single. Just check that we have options information. Still make sure the Wi-Fi is still permanent, which it is. And then we've got date and time now on the new firmware. So we'll put date and time, NTP server. I've already put this in, and I put 162. Can I make that 162 go across the next one? 159.200.1, which is a good UK NTP server. And I'm going to tell that to sync. It syncs the time. Then I'm going to say put the display on, so the time is at the top. On power, sync on power, sync again, sync, because I didn't see that the time was actually updated there. Server IP 162.159.200.1 sync. NTP, that's, there you go, and we have the time, date and time correct at the very top. So that is that. I think we're done. I hope you find that useful, guys. I know I like the Wi-Fi. Now I have to say that the Wi-Fi is not as fast as an Ethernet cable, which is, I guess, is understandable. Okay, so if we put the scope on here, and we go into the instrument cluster here with the Wi-Fi enabled, and open it out, what we can see, we've got a full instrument cluster here. And if we put auto setup on here, you can click, and hopefully you can see both happening at either side here. And let's say we make it 1 volt. I got that on there correctly. No, I have not. A bit of a numpty. Let's go around like that. There you go. Well, you can see what's happening, can't you? So you can see that it updates reasonably quickly. Not fantastic, I guess, but it's very good if you want to create a trigger. Like this, so you can see the wave pattern on your laptop. Okay, so that's it. If there's any comments or anything you didn't quite understand or didn't explain right, then please leave a comment down below. Anything else you need to know, or if you've got any ideas, maybe make this easier. Maybe there's different ways of doing this these days, but I spent quite a bit of time trying to work that out. There's lots of different ways, lots of different things. People have written Python scripts. There's files to take off, sort of file share areas for web, for key gens and that. And I didn't really fancy doing that, so I thought I'd go for the bog standard software from Siglent, from Microsoft, and get the keys in a very safe way without, I don't know, being exposed to any sort of viruses and things. So I hope that was useful. Please like and subscribe. Helps a lot. Really appreciate it. Bye bye.